Good morning, world. Maria here, alive and kicking. Welcome to one of my favorite shows and one of your favorite shows of the month, Awaken with Meria and Monica. And today we take a breather from the crazy world and we actually give you useful tools. So I'm really happy, as always, to have my good friend and gifted woman, Monica Sepulveda, on the show with me. And if
Oh, thank you, Maria.
that's my pleasure. I can't tell you. I post half our shows on YouTube,
Uh-huh.
and YouTube gave me a couple of strikes 2 months ago. They were getting ready to get rid of my channel. So I actually went in and deleted all of my political stuff and just left up my spiritual stuff. But I will tell you that the comments on YouTube on our shows, which is relatively new in my roster, are amazing. Everybody loves the show.
Oh, that's great.
So
That's
I wanted
good to hear.
I
I'm glad
wanted to
because,
share that.
I know about you. I know about me. My purpose is to reach as many people as possible because the way things are going at this point in time, we all have to raise our vibratorial frequency to one of love in order to be able to overcome the darkness that's been surrounding this planet. And it's escalated.
No, absolutely. And this is, I do want to let the audience know we do have some questions from listeners today.
Okay.
And we are going to be talking about thinking in a left brain world. And we're going to also talk about exactly what you just said. Many people are telling me that they're freaking out, they can't sleep, they can't handle what's going on, and they get home, they're exhausted. And I keep one-on-one telling people that you cannot walk around with your chakras wide open anymore. So we are going to be teaching you, especially if you're an empath, how to shut that down. Monica, I find that a lot of people think that just because they have a gift, they should just let it control them and
Oh,
constantly
no.
be in service to others, and until they end up in the hospital and then they wonder what happened.
Yeah. Yeah, that's irresponsible. When you have a gift, you've got to learn how to use it correctly. This is why it's important to study with like Maria or myself or someone that knows what they're doing. Because just because you have a gift it can really undermine you. It can really destroy you unless you know how to use it properly. And I was telling you a story about John Lennon, who came to me after he died, and he said, you need to cover your chakras, your third chakra, the emotional center, because you're an empath and you pick up too much information about other people and it's driving you mad and you can't sleep. Mm-hmm. I said, that's correct. So he said, and also at the top of your head, he said, put an invisible hat on in order to cut down your ability to connect constantly. You have to shut that down. He told me to put a dial right on the third chakra, like a dimmer switch. Mm-hmm. And he said, you can see that it's all the way up to 10. He said, turn it way down to 2 right now. So I visualized doing it, and it actually worked, Maria.
Mm-hmm.
This is John Lennon.
Right. Well, listen, he was very spiritual.
Yeah.
And, look what it cost him. But a lot of what he did, especially his song Imagine, was given to him as a gift to give to the world, to meditate on, which to me is still my most favorite song of all times.
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt.
Right. But, people have to understand that this world right now is in a very negative energy space. This mass consciousness seems to have gone insane. And you can't just say, oh, well, I have a gift. It reminds me of those shows on TV with these psychics. I'm trying to think... Arquette was in one of them, Patricia Arquette, and they did the one on that, she was playing that psychic out of Arizona, and it just seemed like every time a spirit or a ghost showed up, she just abandoned her family, her life, and just did whatever they told her to do. And that's not being in control of your gift.
No, absolutely not.
So for me, it's like people have to understand right now, anything that spirit world asks us to do is our choice, number one. Number two should be on our timetable, because we don't work for them. They work for us. And I could never understand people dropping everything just because, some spirit or whatever, or they believe that we're here to serve, serve. And I've seen many people in this business burn out and end up in the hospital.
Oh, my God, Maria, believe me, I've always said sometimes some of the most fucked up people are the people that are, studying spirituality. But it's not something that you learn. It's how you live your life. So we got to translate it into what you're doing, not what you know. Because a lot of people say to me, oh, I'm very spiritual. I go, no, you're not.
Right.
I said, you worry all day long. You're always fearful. I said, you read people, but you give them negative readings. You are not trained. I said, you're doing more harm than good to yourself and to others. Take the time, because I love to teach, and that's part of my work that I do, is I give private lessons online on Skype, which I record, and from people from different countries. They want to know what to do, and right now, it's about staying in a place of love. Einstein said, life is energy, and that's all there is to it. Raise your vibrational frequency to match that which you want, and you shall have it. There is no other way. This is not a philosophy. This is physics. If you take that one quotation alone and live by that, that will change your world.
Absolutely. Yesterday I was driving through town and I saw a very unusual plant with these giant, beautiful white flowers on it that I had never seen before. And as I was driving by, it caught my eye and I made sure to say, thank you, you're so beautiful. Just paying attention to what nature is surrounding us with.
Yes.
Sunbury used to say there were no neurotic birds in nature, and there's a reason for it. And I think we've become so disconnected from the fact that we too are part of nature. And so we have the same natural born right to abundance as many leaves on a tree or as many pebbles on a beach. But, man has disconnected themselves from nature as if they're above it because we've forgotten that we too are part of the animal kingdom.
That's exactly correct. Wow, I'm so glad that you pointed that out because that's something that we all need to be reminded about, And when you connect with all things, you automatically feel loved and loving. It's just so peaceful. That feeling of just telling yourself, yeah, I'm nature, I'm love. And it's so easy because all you have to do every day is just say 2 words, and that's a prayer. It says, thank you. Thank you. And then I am love. And when we do that, we raise our frequency like immediately. We don't have to go through a whole 1-hour meditation or, of course I like to chant though, because chanting does connect me to like 7th and 8th dimensions,
Right. Well,
so I enjoy that personally, but, keep it simple. People go, what should I do? They spend more time. Do you know that 5 minutes of intense worry or fear is equivalent to 8 hours of physical labor? That's why they feel exhausted.
Of course. I mean, that's crazy. For me, especially right after a news show, first thing I do after I post the show is I hit the gym. And I did that yesterday after like an hour and a half of news. And a couple of my listeners, actually, one of them was sitting on the bike next to me. And she said to me, how are you doing? And I said, well, after today's news show, I said, the government should pay for my gym membership because it's the only thing that keeps me from becoming a mass killer. And she started laughing. But you know what? That gets me back in reality. And it relaxes my body. I know that might sound crazy to some people, but working out relaxes my body.
That makes a lot of sense, though, and you're getting a whole lot of stuff out of your system that could be pinned up emotion, from the show, because you're brave, my dear. I don't know how you do it. I couldn't. I'm just I can't even watch the news right now. I can't watch those kids.
I know. Well, listen, I have a lot of past lives where I was always one for the underdog and always murdered in all those lives, by the way.
Well,
but
I traveled all the way to Auschwitz.
Who I am.
I went to Auschwitz in Poland and saw what happened there, and I'm seeing shades of the same stuff.
Yeah, I saw a woman.
It's not gonna work this time though, because people are too awake, and they're awakening. But what it's doing is it's giving us a big old jolt, like an earthquake. Wake up!
Absolutely.
And people are doing something now, so it's not going to happen.
Right. Well, we're going to talk about, moving into your right brain in a left brain world, but I don't know if you want to take the couple of questions we have from listeners first.
Whatever you want, my dear.
Okay. Well, I got this from a woman in Australia. Her birth date is March 11th, 1969, which is interesting. Both questions are from people born in 1969. And she said, she's read some of Michael Rickia's work, who I also have on my show. And, especially his excellent book. If you haven't read it, Mona, you have to get it. It's called Your Life After Death. It's like my favorite book. But she says, if you believe that we're here to experience an arc from birth to death, knowing that when we die, we never want to return, then how much emphasis do we need to focus on, you know, things like the Illuminati, ancient bloodlines, conspiracies, etc., should we entertain? She says, I worry that lowers my energy.
Oh, okay. I'd like to take that if you don't mind.
Sure.
First of all, the information such as like Illuminati or Bilderbergers or, you know, any of the Committee of 300, Council of Foreign Relations, all this stuff is information so that you are aware of what's happening, but you're not to be consumed by it, worry about it, because that's exactly what their agenda is. Keep the vibratorial frequency low so that we can control these people via their emotions, therefore imprison them in their own emotional state. You don't let information control you. You just have to know it. Once you know it, then you know what to do in order to counterbalance and to wipe it out. Because, look, there's 7 billion of us and 144 of them.
Right. Right. So, do the math. That's what I always tell people. Do the math.
Do the math. Yeah, exactly. So each individual is very important, because if we all take responsibility to raise that frequency back to where it should be, I call it the default settings, which is love. Go back to the default settings, reset. And when you're in that place, nothing can ever hurt the light, and you're light. So everything from darkness is ricocheted back out, but when you ricochet negative out, you immediately just say, I send you back out with love, because you don't want to send negative stuff back to this planet. You want to convert it. Einstein did say you can't create energy, you can't destroy it, but you can convert it. So immediately convert it. So I visualize these things that have been bothering me for the past few days, such as the children in cages, and I visualize them. I send them a light, and I say, this is going to be okay. You're going to be free. You're going to be fine. Everything's going to topple over. Don't worry. It will take care of itself. You are loved. You are loved. And I just send them that, you know, because...
Right.
And I start seeing them smiling with their families. I look at the end result. And again, Einstein said, look at the vision that you want. Raise your frequency and you'll have it. So we have to keep looking at images of solution and of love and of goodness. If we stay in that dark level, those vibratorial frequencies that are very negative, it just pulls us down. We become part of the problem. We're not doing anything good. So it's our responsibility to keep our frequency high. And if each one does it individually, this planet changes all by itself. It has to, because it cannot ricochet back a picture of something that that's like planting strawberries and then hoping that we get peaches, you know?
Right.
Whatever we plant is what grows. And so whatever we put out comes back.
Exactly. Well said. Well, you know, I've told my listeners God, next month I start my 19th year on the internet doing this show.
Wow, and Meria, congratulations.
I can't believe it. I don't even know if congratulations is in order, or whether I should be committed for continuing to do this. But the way that I say to my audience is, it's better to know than not know.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those people that always wants to know. Okay, but you can learn how to walk between the two worlds, which is basically what you're saying about raising your vibration. Yeah. And, you know, I think about David Icke, and what he stresses in his book all the time is that we're here to experience. Okay, we're experiencers. The reason we come to life is to experience. That's why we're on this planet. And then take those experiences off planet. For me, I look at it as I just feel that we're all really time travelers. And if people can, even if you just imagine it, okay, you don't have to believe this, but just imagine that you're a time traveler from the future revisiting the past. And you're just here as, you know, maybe Jimmy Olsen, cub reporter, you know. So for me, I feel like I'm Jimmy Olsen, cub reporter, you know, reporting on every single thing I see and going on in this world. Because I also know what I say on the air is also going out into the universe. Yeah. So other people, other beings are also benefiting from my work here. And I know these are stories I'll take with me once I leave to make sure this never happens on another planet. Exactly. So really changing your perspective will help you kind of walk between the two worlds. Even if you just say it's make-believe. If you can get that, you know, the future's already happening if you truly believe time and space all exist at once. Yeah. And that you just dropped into this particular time period to see what's up. So, I don't know, you know, if that makes sense or not.
No, I understand what you're saying, because if you look at it from that perspective, okay, we're dropping into this time zone called reincarnation. Let's fix it.
Right.
Let's fix it. We're here for a reason. We incarnated and chose to come here for a reason. You know I lived in Auschwitz. I know I died in Auschwitz. That's why I had to go there in this lifetime, because I have to make sure that this never happens again either. And when I saw it surfacing, and I thought, you recognize it, you get the signs of it, and when you're looking at being a time travel, which is an amazing analogy, then you can say, okay, let's fix this. I know how to fix this.
Right.
It's called love. Because everything, if you look at the entire universes, it's all in perfect order. It's synchronized. The planets aren't going haywire and moving at their own weird pace. They're synchronized. It's perfect. The sun comes up. The planets circle. Everything is in synchronicity. And we focus on this little teeny dot on the Milky Way that's like the size of a grain of salt. And that's called Earth. And we're focused on what's happening in that drama. We can fix it because we're beings, eternal beings. And we've had many lifetimes before, not only in Earth, but in other galaxies. So we can connect to the energy from those other galaxies and center ourselves that way if you want to. It doesn't matter how you choose to center yourself. Just do it.
Right.
And then take that energy and live your life a loving one. Yeah, we talk about what's going on now, and a lot of times people freak out. But David ends his books always talking about the solution, that this is all an illusion, but the solution and the only reality is love. And he ends his books telling people this is the solution. Go back to love. Go back to love. And when you do that, it solves and heals all things. So it's like really very simple, but people get so caught up in that energy called emotions. That's why when you talk about the chakra system and shutting that down, I would love for you to talk more about that, because people need to do it. I used a dimmer switch.
Right.
That did help me.
Right. Well, I have a couple of different ways to do it. And if people are in a big hurry, just, if you come in from the outside world, get in a shower right away. I mean, moving water clears all your chakras. And then while you're in that shower, just visualize clearing your chakras. I mean, if you're in a big hurry, or you don't want to spend 2 minutes to actually do it another way. But before we get into that, let's get over to Tammy's question. And it's interesting, like I said, she's also born in 1969. God, in 69, I was like the disco queen in New York.
I graduated from high school in 69. And it was June the 13th, Friday the 13th, 1969.
Well, I was dancing in a cage in a disco. And it wasn't with my hair teased out to like the next planet. And my mini skirts and my go-go boots. But she was just being born. So she's.
And your hot pants?
No, I didn't do the hot pants. I just, I never cared for that style. I was always very kind of modest, even though my father didn't care for my mini skirts.
Oh.
Anyway, Tammy's birthday is September 10th of 1969. And it's interesting, the numbers here, okay? Mm-hmm. Because she says that she's had this rash on her derriere for the last 9 years. She can't figure out where it's coming from. She's tried adjusting her diet of different products, and it never goes away. Sometimes it gets better, and sometimes it gets worse.
I have a hit on it right now.
Okay.
She needs to be treated for herpes.
Okay. Wow.
Okay, and if she ever went into a tanning booth, that's where you contract herpes on your butt and on your lower back.
Wow.
Yeah, because people go in there, they're supposed to clean them, but they're actually very infected. And so I hear the story many times of people getting it in the same place, either their derriere or their lower back. But it comes from, if they've gone into tanning booths or places where they thought there was someone that was infected, it's very easy to pick up there. So I see it as a herpes connected thing. And you can take antiviral medication for that to clear it up, but stress brings it back on.
Right. Well, I do know they have some kind of medication. I'm sure there are natural things for that, too.
Yeah, she can use lidocaine cream also.
But what I'm looking at is, she's got a lot of 9s here, and she's saying she's had this problem for 9 years. Mm-hmm. And, 9 is always the number of endings, where she's getting ready for a new beginning. So my first thought was, what happened 9 years ago?
Well, it could be when she pinpointed that, this is the thing is I would love to be able to talk to someone like this, because to get the feedback, so, can people, no, they can't. They can't tweet you, can they?
Oh, and they won't tweet me, but they'll definitely email me after the show. That's for sure.
Okay, yeah, maybe
so
we can
I'll
get that
flip
answer.
that. Yeah, I'll flip that over to you. But to me, listen, I always look at the body part, and it just seemed to me that 9 years ago, a major pain in her ass happened. Okay. And it could have been a person, it could have been a situation, and maybe emotionally she's not over it.
Yeah.
How it manifests in your body, whether it's herpes, whether it's, diaper rash. Your body is like your car. When people call me and say they had a car accident, I say, where's the damage? Mm-hmm. Because that's where the message for that person is. It's like your house.
That's exactly right.
Right.
Absolutely right.
You got a water pipe broke in your house. You got floods in your house. Well, there's emotional issues you're not dealing with.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
And looking at the 9, I saw it as a good thing because that's usually when things end.
And by the way, speaking of numerology, I just want to insert this real quickly. And you talked about floods in the house. If the total of your address totals to a 16.7, there are floods in that house. So if you lived at, like, let's say 607, that would be a 13.4. That's okay. 609 would be a what's that? 15.6. What is it? 609 is what? 15.6. There's fires in a 15.6 and floods in a 16.7. But if your total comes up to a 25, that's not a 16.7, that's a 25.7, you're okay. So just as an FYI, and this has happened so many times, and I've told people, do not buy that house. It's a 16.7, you're going to have floods, and sure enough, they get floods. Water damage, leaks, all kinds of things.
Right. But even, even with your car, listen, your subconscious is always talking to you, your higher self, whatever you want to call it, super consciousness. But a lot of people don't.
Everywhere.
Yeah, but people don't pay attention, and then bam, they'll have a car accident. Something will break in their house, and it's not a Mercury retrograde. And I'll always ask them, where's the damage? Like my mother. My mother had 2 car accidents where she ended up going through the windshield.
Oh my gosh!
And one of them, she literally split her head open. Okay.
Wow.
And after the first time, I said to her, when are you going to get it? When are you going to get the message, Ma? How many more times do you have to go through a windshield, get your head split open to pay attention to your life?
Yeah. Exactly. Well, that's why I tell my clients, it didn't happen to you, it happened for you.
Right. Well,
and if you look at it from that point of view, excuse me, I'm losing my voice. If you look at it from that point of view, it makes more sense. That this world is data, constantly revealing what we need to change on the inside. I mean, that's the loving thing about the planet, is it gives us data. Mm-hmm. And instead of reacting, do something about it.
Right. Well, when I was looking to buy this house that I've been in now 14 years, the longest I've ever been in one house, the woman must have showed me 40 different houses, okay? And they all sucked. And then she said, I only have one house left and you're probably going to hate it. Of course, that was the one I loved. And when I saw the house number, it was 100. I said, make an offer right now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a powerful number. Mine's 1010. My new house that I just moved to 3 weeks ago, it's 1010.
Right.
So when you have that 1 followed by the 0, it makes it more powerful.
Right. Well, you're basically living in an 11.
Yeah, but if you look at the 1010, it's just like 100. When you have the zeros following the 1, it makes it more powerful. It takes on more power.
Right, and
so and we're very independent women. We have our own businesses, which is the number one, feature. I'm born on the 10th day as well, so this is perfect for me. And so I loved it when I saw this house. I took it sight unseen. I just knew it was right. Right. 3 weeks later, I looked at it in person. I said, yep, that's exactly what I thought. You just know.
Right. Well, I saw.
And people argue with their knowingness.
Right. Well, I kind of saw that for you. And
yeah. Well, no, you did. You actually said you're leaving the coast. You're not going to live by the ocean anymore, and you're moving inland. And I said, no, that's not going to happen. And you said, watch and see. And sure enough, I did. I moved inland. And then David Ike, our friend, actually did a reading for me too. He goes, you're leaving the ocean. It's time to leave the ocean. You're going to move inland. I said, Maria said the same thing. And he said, yeah. He goes, you're going to be shocked when you find out where you're going to go. And I was, because I ended up moving to the same town as my sister, who lives 90 seconds away from me, in a car. 90 seconds.
It's meant to be, as they say, meant to be.
Oh, absolutely. It's a riot. And so right brain thinking in the left brain world, when people get an idea, about something, they usually go back to their mind and they go pros and cons, pros and cons. That's going back to the left brain and thinking about it. Well, how's it going to happen? Is it going to happen? What if it doesn't happen? That's all left brain noise. I call it white noise. When you receive an idea from the right brain, it can't lie to you because it comes from intuition and the heart. So write it down and take action. Don't sit there and go back and forth and try to analyze it, because you're going to get yourself in trouble. And that's why a lot of people that receive inventions and they're afraid to do them,
right,
or to invent them, and to what if they fail? Then someone else on this planet gets the same idea at the same time, and they go ahead and take action. Learn from that. As soon as you get an idea, it's from the right brain, and if it makes you feel happy, then it's right. If it makes you feel peaceful, then it's right. If it's got a negative feeling, then that's not coming from the right brain.
Right. Well, you know, people can see the proof positive of what you just said, because the U.S. Patent Office has admitted that on any given day, they'll get a patent application for the same thing from several people. And I've always told my clients, whoever moves first on this is going to win. So if you're going to sit on this great business idea, you're going to lose it because someone else is going to do it.
Yeah.
It's about who gets there first. You know, years ago, even when I was teaching watercolor, I used to suggest to people, because they were so stuck in their stuff, they couldn't even just freely flow with color, let alone draw anything. And I used to recommend that book, Drawing from the Right Side of Your Brain.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and there's a lot in there, then you don't have to be an artist to read the book. You know, I've seen the T-shirt, and I have to agree, being left-handed, that says only left-handed people are in their right brain, are in their right mind.
Yeah, I'm left-handed too.
Ah, well, there you go.
But I color mandalas, you know, because that's easy. and you're using the colors that your body actually needs to heal and balance itself. Speaking of chakras, when you color a mandala, you actually pick out the colors that your body needs to heal. So it does balance the chakras when you color mandalas. And you can buy those coloring books at Amazon, and you can buy like a box of 100 felt tip pens, the very fine line ones, at, I forgot what it's called. It's like $14.95, and they're made by Crayola. If you buy the Pentels, you're going to pay $200 for those. So get smart.
Right.
Order them online. $14.95, 100 felt tip pens. Get them on dollars and have a blast. That balances the chakras. Then you can do an open-eyed meditation by just taping it onto the wall. It looks like stained glass window when you're done. They're so beautiful.
Absolutely.
And then one day when I was really depressed, I had to get that energy out of me, so I colored just in black, gray, and brown, and all shades in between. And as soon as I got out, within 10 minutes, after feeling depressed for 2 days, it was gone. And then I ripped it and threw it away.
Well, that's a whole lot of color therapy. You know, it's funny, when I get to the gym, the guy who runs the gym, he'll say, God, every day you're in a different outfit. And, you know, sometimes they're very bright, sometimes they're not. And I told him, I said, color works in the gym. Depending on what mood I'm in and what I feel my body needs is the color I'm going to wear, and it's going to be crayon color. By the way, Monica, you might want to check out Cheap Joe's online, Cheap Joe's Art Supplies. I think it's just cheapjoes.com. And anybody listening, if you actually want to buy these coloring books, pens, whatever your art supplies are, I've been using them. They've got quality products at very cheap prices. God, ever since I started painting in 1983. So
Cheap Joe's, like CHEAP and then Joe's?
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so the difference between the right brain and the left brain. Now, we're not telling people that they only have to use their right side of their brain.
That's not true. We can't do that.
Right. Because I know that when I'm working, I'm using more the left side of my brain.
That's correct.
But
the left brain is history. It's information that we need. We need to know that 1 and 1 equals 2, so we have to use the left brain. What I'm talking about with the right brain is it gives you instruction, direction, and what to do next. It gives you ideas.
Right.
And when you feel good about it, that's a confirmation that it's right for you.
Right. Now,
if it doesn't feel right, then you let it move on. I'm talking about the fact that people argue with it, which is insane. That's one of the chapters in my book is called Right Brain Thinking in the Left Brain World.
Which is a great...
People have been taught to not trust themselves, their hunches, their instincts, their gut. It's the same thing, you know. So when you receive an idea, most people go, oh my God, that sounds like a great idea. Like they'll say something like, I really want to write a book. Well, then write a book.
Right.
Thinking, but what if it fails? Where am I going to find a publisher? What am I, they go into the left brain limited thinking. The right brain is expansive and it only gives you information of things that we're capable of doing. And then it's our choice whether we want to do it or not.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to take a short break. We're going to choose to do that. But when we come back, we're going to talk about your chakras and how to handle them, especially if you're an empath. So stay with us. Monica and I will be right back.